Welcome to the Old Time Superman Show from Boise, Idaho. This is your host, Adam Graham, as we continue through the 1941 season. This is the Nitrate Shipment, Part 5. Last time, Pug Flanagan and Jimmy Olsen had gotten into trouble, locked up in the cargo hold. Now we're going to find out what's going to happen next, and perhaps what that mysterious cargo is. Before we get started, I want to encourage you to please check out Laser and Sword magazine. That is lasersword.adamsweb.us for the best in new serial fiction. Our current serial, Unknown Mission, enters its 20-plus parts, and it's heading towards conclusion. You can get caught up on all the actions. Just go over to lasersword.adamsweb.us. And the new episodes posted every Thursday. But without any further ado, let's get into the Nitrate Shipment, Part 5.
Presenting the transcription feature, Superman!
Up in the sky! Look! It's a bird!
It's a plane! It's Superman!
And now, Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, wages a never-ending battle for truth and justice. In our last episode, we learned how Kent, on board a steamship sailing from Panama to the United States, received two mysterious messages warning him of danger to come. Jimmy Olsen and Pug Flanagan, Kent's companions on the voyage, decided it was time to investigate the ship's cargo. In the darkness of the forward hold, they found what seemed like sacks of sugar piled almost to the ceiling. Just then, a passing deckhand, noticing that the iron door to the hold was ajar, slammed it shut and threw the latch, locking the boys in. For a moment, Jimmy and Pug were stunned, but decided to find out what was in the sacks before calling for help. However, in attempting to remove one of them, the pile was dislodged and came tumbling down. Listen.
Pug, look out, they're falling on top of you. Oh. Pug. Pug, where are you? Pug. He's buried under the sacks. I gotta get him out. Pug. Pug, answer me. I can't move these sacks fast enough. They're too heavy. I need help. Help! Help! Open this door! Help! Help!
Bruising his knuckles against the heavy iron door, Jimmy valiantly tries to summon help to free Pug from beneath an avalanche of heavy sacks. Meanwhile, 3 decks above, well out of earshot, Clark Kent waits for the boys at the shuffleboard court as the ship clears the harbor and heads for the open sea.
I wonder what's keeping Jimmy and Pug. I think they'd be interested in seeing the boat pull out of the harbor. Well, maybe I'd better go down and get them. Well, here comes one of our passengers. The young lady we saw in the dining room. Good morning.
It's much more than just a good morning. It's a wonderful morning. Aren't you the gentleman traveling with the 2 boys?
Uh-huh. My name's Clark Kent.
How do you do? I'm June Barrington.
How do you do?
You've probably heard of my father.
Not Dr. Michael Barrington, the surgeon?
That's right.
Oh, then you're English.
Right again. Dad and I have been in Africa organizing hospital units for the army.
Oh, that's so.
We're going back home now, and everyone's decided this was the safest route.
Mm-hmm. Ordinarily it would be, but I think you and your father should know that queer things have been happening aboard this ship.
What do you mean, Mr. Kent?
Oh, now, don't misunderstand. It may not be serious at all, but, you know, being a newspaper man, I'm always suspicious.
Now you have me gasping with suspense. What is it that's happened?
Well, since boarding the ship, I've received 2 warning notes. One by messenger that said not to sail, and one under my breakfast plate that said, beware. I've already spoken to the captain about it, but got nowhere.
That's very strange.
Of course, as you probably know, there are only 8 passengers on board. You, your father, 3 of us, 2 coffee merchants, and an elderly woman.
That is rather unusual. unusual, isn't it?
Well, we're carrying a large cargo. A cargo the nature of which the captain refuses to reveal.
You think perhaps it's contraband, Mr. Kent?
Well, I can't say, but I'd like very much to know.
Couldn't we find out somehow?
Don't say anything. Here comes a sailor.
Don't you just love traveling by boat, Mr. Kent?
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. There's nothing like it, Miss Barrington.
I guess it's safe now. As I was saying, couldn't we find out what the cargo is?
Only by going down into the hold.
Well, then why don't we? Come on, yes.
Well, Jimmy and Pug are supposed to meet me here at the shuffleboard court.
Oh, it won't take long. Come on.
All right. If the captain ever finds out, he's not going to like it much. I imagine this corridor leads to the forward hold.
Oh, I'm just quivering with excitement.
That iron door up ahead is the one we want.
Wouldn't it be funny if the cargo was
What is
just...
it?
What's the matter?
Oh, I heard a muffled cry. Listen.
Yes, I heard it.
It's coming from behind that iron door. Someone's locked in there. Quick! Oh, lucky there's only a latch on it. Stand back, Miss Barrington. Jimmy!
Oh, one of your boys.
But Jimmy, what happened? What are you doing here?
Pug. He's under the sack.
What?
They fell on him.
Miss Barrington.
Yes?
Take him to my cabin. It's 22 on C deck. At once, please. Have your father look him over, will you? I'll get the other one. Can you walk, Jimmy?
I think so. Find Pug.
Yes, sure. Don't worry. I'll find him now. Don't you worry. Go ahead.
That's it, Jimmy. Just take it easy. We'll manage.
Oh, I had to get her out of the way because
This looks like a job for Superman. Pug buried under those sacks. No time to waste. I'll have him free in a moment. This stuff isn't light. Jimmy probably tried to move it, but couldn't. There we are. There he is. Now to lift him out. Carefully. Yeah, that does it. Oh, the poor kitty's out cold. But alive, thank goodness. The lucky thing that girl brought me down here. Another few minutes might have told a different story. I'll carry him up to the cabin as Clark Kent and her father examine.
Are they all right, Father?
Yes, nothing serious, June.
Jimmy's knuckles are bruised and he's exhausted, but he'll pull through.
What about Pug? Is that his name?
You found him just in time. He might have suffocated if he'd been down there much longer.
Well, I can thank you for that, Miss Barrington.
But we never did find out what the cargo is.
Well, yes, we did. You see, I broke open one of the sacks. I have a sample wrapped in this piece of paper. There we are. What does it look like, Dr. Barrington?
Nitrate.
Mm-hmm. That was my guess.
What's nitrate?
A substance used in the manufacture of explosives.
So that's what this ship was carrying. That's why there are only 8 passengers on board.
In the light of this discovery, Mr. Kent, the 2 warning messages you received take on new meaning, I should say.
Oh, why should I be the only one to receive warning?
Yes. Why?
You say there are 8 passengers?
Mm-hmm. You and your daughter, Jimmy, Pug, and myself, 2 coffee merchants, and an elderly lady.
Has it occurred to you, Mr. Kent, that you and the 2 boys are probably the only Americans on this ship?
Well, that's no doubt true, but I
And
still...
being Americans, you were the only ones warned to get off?
You mean that something's going to happen to the ship, Father?
It rather looks like that.
Hadn't we better tell the captain?
He knows we're carrying nitrate, Miss Barrington. He also knows about the messages of warning.
But if we're in danger...
We've been in danger before,
Yes,
June.
I know, but...
Come in. What? Jimmy, I thought you were supposed to rest.
I'm okay now, Mr. Kent. I wanted to find out what was happening.
Jimmy, this is Miss Barrington, Dr. Barrington's daughter.
We introduced ourselves coming up from the hold, didn't we, Jimmy?
Yes. What's cooking, Mr. Kent? What was in those sacks?
Nitrate, Jimmy. Something used to make explosives.
Wow.
Not nothing to get excited about.
Well, Miss Barrington looks excited, and so do you. Well, what are we going to do?
A very sensible question, Jimmy.
Have you any suggestions, Dr. Barrington?
Nothing very constructive, I'm afraid. I suppose we could hold a meeting of the passengers on board and apprise them of the situation.
Well, there are only 3 besides ourselves. The 2 coffee men and the old lady.
Well, I think they should know.
Yeah, all right. I'll get the 2 men. Miss Barrington, suppose you and Jimmy locate and escort the little old lady to this cabin, will you? I believe the purser said she's in C-33.
Right you are. Come on, Jimmy.
And try not to let any of the crew know what's brewing.
Don't worry, we won't.
That's 6 bells, isn't it, Jimmy?
Yes. All is not so well.
What captain did we discover our little old lady was occupying?
You mean the cabin?
Yes.
Number 33, right here on C deck. Must be at the end of this corridor.
I hope she can stand the shock of learning there are tons of nitrate right under her.
Oh, here's number 33.
Shall I knock?
I guess so. No. Wait.
What is it?
Put your ear close to the door.
All right.
Hear anything?
Sounds like a bird chirping.
No. It's a wireless key. Someone's sending a message.
What do you mean?
I know Morse code. I learned it from Sparks on the Clara M. Maybe I can follow it. It stopped.
I think you're just imagining things, Jimmy. What would a little old lady be doing sending wireless messages?
I don't know, but I'm sure I heard... There it is again.
It's a bird, Jimmy.
No, listen. This is what it says. Our position, midnight, 150 miles due north of Cologne. Everything in readiness. We'll contact you again hourly to report on progress.
The mystery seems to be thickening. Can Jimmy be right? Is the little old lady in stateroom 33 sending a wireless message? Don't forget to tune in next time for another thrilling episode with Superman.
Tune in the next thrilling installment of the transcription feature, Superman.
Up in the sky! Look!
It's a bird!
It's a plane! It's Superman!
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
Well, welcome back. You know, listening to this, I really think that Clark Kent is being, shall we say, I don't know if naive's the right word. Maybe stupid would be better. Because you think about this. Somebody had to give him the note. The captain knows that the nitrate shipment's on there. He's not going to warn him off the ship. So somebody gave him the note, and probably because they knew something nefarious was going to happen. His solution: confirmed to everybody on board the ship that there is nitrate aboard. Brilliant! Briande. Just not feeling it. I think that he's in with trouble and letting way too many people in on the secret. And I'm suspicious of the British couple at this point. And it's not suspicious for British, or stereotypical for the British couple at this point to be the bad guys. But I'm suspicious anyway. Particularly with her, oh, Jimmy, that's not Morse code. But Jimmy Olsen can hear Morse code, which works out to be a very convenient plot device. But hey, it all works. So, all right, well, that's it for today's episode. You got any comments, feel free to email me, adam@adamsweb.us. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off.